What do the Gulf countries owe US President Donald Trump? That is a question which now casts a shadow over negotiations with Iran, which are already at a delicate stage. But this week, a new dimension added by Trump has altered the stakes, not just for US or Iran, but for other countries in West Asia. Speaking during a high-stakes cabinet meeting at White House, Trump expressed deep skepticism about finalizing a peace treaty with Tehran unless Saudi Arabia and other major Gulf powers formally agree to normalize relations with Israel. Trump, eyeing a grand bargain to calm the turbulent West Asia, has named 5 countries that already have relations with Israel, along with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Pakistan, which are considered highly unlikely to take such a step. However, the US president believes the countries owe it to the US.
We'd like to have them immediately join and Steve Witkoff is working on that with Jared and some others, but would like to have them join the Abraham Accords. It'll be historic if they do it. And I think they owe that to us, to be honest. I think, because that really would be a tremendous sign. And I think those countries owe it to us.
Mr. President.
Steve, are you going to get them to sign?
We're definitely pushing it, Mr. President.
The US president kept talking about how great the deal will be for so many countries in the region, for Saudi Arabia, for Qatar and Kuwait, among others.
I'm not sure we should make the deal if they don't sign. You want to know the truth? If they don't sign to join the Abraham Accords, I don't know that we have countries in there already. UAE, great countries, bold countries, and it's turned out to be so good, so effective, and so we're requesting strongly that they join. It'll be great. It'll be great for Saudi Arabia. It'll be great for Qatar and Kuwait.
Washington brokered the Abraham Accords during Trump's first presidential term, seeking to build bridges between Israel and the Gulf countries. The UAE, Bahrain and Morocco are already signatories, establishing diplomatic, economic and security ties. Trump's latest push also raises questions on what exactly it is that Gulf nations owe the American president. It is well known that the U.S. has its military bases across West Asia, with some of its most substantial military presence in Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, and others. These bases host 40 to 50,000 U.S. troops in total. Many Arab nations also have U.S. defense systems like the THAAD, installed as part of a unified air defense network in that region. It is these very systems and bases that also came under attack during Iran's retaliation. Now that with Iran peace talks hanging by a thread, the president has thrown normalization with Israel as a new condition for America's own allies in West Asia. The concern now is, how will Arab allies of the U.S. react to this demand, and if it has the potential to derail talks with Iran? And joining us live on this broadcast is Mr. Giorgio Cafiero. He's a professor at Georgetown University and CEO Gulf State Analytics. Is now joining us live from Washington, D.C. It's good to see you, Mr. Cafiero, and thank you very much for your time. Quick question. Do you think President Donald Trump is arm twisting or forcing GCC nations?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me back on your network. Always good to be with you. My best regards to all your viewers. I think Donald Trump is trying to continue with his agenda of expanding the scope of the Abraham Accords. He seems to think that this is a unique opportunity right now to bring more Arab and Muslim majority countries into the Abraham Accords. But I think this is completely unrealistic. If Trump genuinely believes that that the United States is going to have success in terms of bringing more Gulf countries as well as Pakistan into the Israeli normalization camp, I have to say there is really a serious element of delusion that we're looking at here with the U.S. president. For many reasons, I think that these countries are not going to want to normalize with Israel under current conditions. Mm-hmm. And I think that actually these countries understand that if they were to normalize with Israel, this would intensify the friction in their relationships with Iran. And for a whole host of reasons, I think a number of countries in the neighborhood are going to try to find ways to accommodate Iran, as difficult as that is going to be, which further decreases the chances of them agreeing to normalize with Israel at this point.
Professor Cafiero, let me ask you this then. Pakistan has already said we are out. We are not joining the Abraham Accords. That has been left to the president to decide. Now there's the UAE, there's Saudi Arabia, and then there's Kuwait. They've not reacted to President Trump's demand. How do you think they will react? Will they join the Abraham Accords just to please Trump? And if they don't join the Abraham Accords, now President Trump says there are repercussions. What repercussions do you think those are?
Well, just to be clear, the UAE has been in the Abraham Accords since 2020. So I think its position is significantly different compared to the other countries you just mentioned. We need to understand that for Saudi Arabia, the leadership in Riyadh has been crystal clear that any movement toward normalization with Israel is going to require the establishment of a Palestinian state, or at least irreversible steps toward the establishment of a Palestinian state. That is not something that we can imagine with the current leadership in Israel right now. And obviously, after years of genocide in Gaza, the question of Israeli normalization is very toxic inside Saudi society. And at the end of the day, the Saudi leadership cannot ignore public opinion on such an important issue. I think if Saudi Arabia were to normalize with Israel under pressure from Washington right now, that could actually pose a threat to stability inside the kingdom. That's the last thing Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman wants right now. So it's just simply a non-starter, this question of Saudi-Israeli normalization, at least in this current period. I do believe that these countries will be willing to accept the risks in whatever form they take in terms of backlash from the United States. But I think this is an important point here. That will do much to further inform their perspective that the United States is not a force for stability in the region, and not an ally or a partner that the GCC states can count on. And this also needs to be understood within the context of Trump recently threatening to, quote unquote, blow up Oman. What I'm getting at here is that the Trump administration's absolutely reckless moves in recent weeks, recent months, I think is going to change the way GCC states look at the United States as a security partner. And there will be major ramifications for U.S. GCC relations throughout the future.
Professor Cafiero, it's good to see you. We'll have to end this discussion here. Thank you very much for your insights and for talking to us today.
Good to be with you.